Coach, congrats on signing Danny Leyva today. What are your initial impressions on the youngest signing in club history?
Well, I'm gonna remove the age out of it. It is a big deal because he's 15, can't drive yet. So I don't know who's taking him to practice, but he's a good soccer player. I want to focus on that he's a mature young man. He's got the ability to play. We believe he has the ability to play at this level, and that's why we signed him. Let's take the age out of it.
What did he show you guys in preseason? Seemed like you guys were so impressed with him and been rating him highly. What did he do to stand out and convince you he was ready for this?
There were a bunch of small details because he didn't end up on the score line, score sheet, whatever. But, you know, he demands the ball in tough spots. He's technically clean. His vision is good. And the thing that I really liked, the thing that really kind of stood out to me was he wasn't afraid to communicate with Nico, with Christian. Say, hey, Nico, pass me the ball, or Christian, come over here. I need some help over here. He was actually, you know, engaged in the game with a bunch of senior players with good verbal communication, which showed me that the kid has a, you know, thinks the game through. And that's what was impressive to me.
I know you want to take the age out of it, but just talk about the maturity level of a 15-year-old at this nature.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get 3 adult children now, but they all mature at different times in their lives. Danny is probably ahead of his group. You know, to expand on the question I just answered, I mean, the kid shows a willingness to learn, and he can actually take that information and process it and actually do the things we're asking him to do, which is another sign of a little bit of additional maturity. Sometimes you have to, young teenagers, you got to tell them 3-4 times to clean their room, right? So that's another sign that he's a little bit more mentally mature than his age might dictate.
What's the challenge then for somebody at his age, at 15, maybe not to rush him or holding him back as far as like playing time and minutes?
Well, as far as that's concerned, that will TBD, to be determined. But I'm not afraid to put him on the field if he can continue to show growth. He's got a great group of guys to come into. That's the other thing that's going to help with the age factor and maturity and stuff. You talk about Gonzo, who does a great job. Jimmy, he's got a lot of experiences. You know, Preki, myself, we all have kids. We all kind of know that dynamic. Then you've got Christian, who was a young up-and-coming player. You've got Nico, one of the best players in our league to learn from. You know, Victor, he's got Harry Ship, all those guys. They're all going to accept him because he works hard. You know, he doesn't talk back to any of the senior players. He's very humble, and that's going to be one of his, you know, best attributes.
You have 3 players that came up through S2 and Tacoma Defiance. You have 4 on your roster that came through the academy. What's that tell the other 19 guys down there at Tacoma right now and the rest of the academy about their prospects and their future?
Well, I think it speaks loudly to a good relationship that we've always had, whether you call it S2 or Defiance. You know, the coaching staffs are always intertwined. We're always talking about players back and forth, who's playing well, who's not playing well. So I think that's going to continue. It's reality. If you're good enough, regardless if you're a Defiance player or a 15-year-old from Vegas or you're a 18-year-old from British Columbia, you know, wherever, however that comes, Dave, we're going to take a look at him. We're going to take a serious look at him. And Danny's earned that privilege. He's earned that right for us to take a long, hard look at him. And there's some other Defiance players down there that might get their chance as well.
You have 3 games in 7 days, I guess, about here. And you said you weren't afraid to put him on the field. So is there an opportunity for him against Colorado to travel this weekend?
We've got a couple injuries that we're dealing with, so I'll talk that through with the coaches. We haven't made up any final decisions yet.
What are the injuries? Who are you concerned about? Sal Riley?
Well, we're concerned about guys that have little aches and pains that are normal for MLS. So who's starting, who's on the bench, those types of decisions are what we're talking about.
So, Coach, other teams have signed another younger players. How does this help to the growth of the league?
Well, I think what it does is it showcases the amount of talent that this country has. You know, we've always, you know, development of players has been such a hot button item in this country. I think our country is so big that there might be guys that are overlooked. There might be players that we don't see, or whatever. All of the grassroots coaching that is going on in this country, I think is great, and it's tremendous. And products like people like Danny, who are a product of their environment, I think that's the storyline.
You say you feel confident to put him out there. How much of that confidence comes from games like the one he had against Nacional, all the preseason games in which he was one of the most used players?
Yeah, all of that. I mean, look, Nico, he holds his own. That's what I like about the kid. He just, if he can pick up the speed of game quickly and the cues, because it's a little faster physically, a little faster mentally, he'll be playing soon.
Can you talk about just the pride that this program develops, bringing up homegrown players like Danny and others?
Well, it's an important objective for the club for sure. We've spent a lot of money, got a lot of resources, a lot of man hours into that. So again, it's kudos to the guys that are doing the hard work, that are doing the heavy lifting, and we're happy that it's bearing some fruit.
Just to be clear, I saw Raul just kind of hobbling.
Raul's going on the trip. Jada, you're pestering me.